This episode is brought to you by Microsoft Azure. Turn your ideas into reality with an Azure free account. Get everything you need to develop apps across cloud and hybrid environments, scale workloads, create cloud-connected mobile experiences, and so much more. Discover what you can create with popular services free for 12 months. Learn more at azure.com. That's AZURE.com. And sign up for a free account to start building in the cloud today.
Hello, welcome to 2 Foot Extra. Again, there are no what's goods today because there just isn't. Right, part one, we will go over the transfers that have been done, the transfers that are getting done, and then part two, we'll just do the usual gossip. So, Kepa to Bournemouth, done deal. Federico Chiesa to Liverpool, done deal. Bilal Al-Khanas to Leicester, done deal. And Bastian Mupio, I'm not sure, from Nantes to Wolves. Fair play. Valkenbayo is moving between Watford and Udinese, obviously owned by the same family, but going to stay at Watford on loan for the year. Oscar Estupiñán joins the massive departure list at Hull. He goes to FC Juarez. Romelu Lukaku to Napoli is a done deal, and Wout Weghorst is a done deal to Ajax. In the Football League, Sriki Dembele going from Birmingham to Oxford. Gavin Kilkenny going from Bournemouth to Swindon. Jamie Miley leaves Newcastle to go on loan to Newport. Callum Scanlon leaves Liverpool to go on loan to Millwall. Max Thompson goes from Newcastle to Chesterfield on loan. And Jensen Weir joins Wigan on loan. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Jensen Weir come from Wigan? Isn't he former Wigan Academy player? He is indeed, yeah. He was sold when they had all their financial problems. Brighton snapped him up. He's had a bunch of loans, but now it looks like he has returned there on a permanent deal, so fair play. Moving on, Aaron Ramsdale is a done deal to Southampton, 18 million plus some add-ons. It's a lot lower than they were looking for. They were looking for 40 at the beginning of the summer. That dropped to 35 and then 30 and then 25, and now it's 18 and add-ons. Sam Johnson goes to Wolves for 10 million. You'll remember Wolves were going to get Ramsdale, but backed out of it, and this is the deal they made instead. And I think 10 million for Johnston is better than loan with obligation to buy for, I think it was 23 that they had on Ramsdale. Jure Petrovic joins Strasbourg on loan. Nothing fishy there at all. Enzo Blanchea joins Valencia on loan from Villa, and Neil Maupay goes to Marseille from Everton on a loan with an obligation to buy. Koji Miyoshi goes from Birmingham to Bochum. In the lower leagues, Josh Bowler leaves Forest on loan for Preston. Casey Palmer going from Coventry to Hull, I'm a little bit surprised by. Josh Thompson goes Swansea to Bromley on loan. Jeremy Sarmiento joins Burnley on loan from Brighton. Billy Creelan goes Everton to Accrington on loan. Mikey Johnston goes back to West Brom on loan. Miles Perth-Harris goes Brentford to Swansea. That's a loan as well. Amari Cozier-Dewberry, who joined Brighton in the summer on loan. No, Brighton in the summer on a permanent from Arsenal after his contract ran out. He's gone to Blackburn on loan. Anis bin Sulaiman, I think he's a good player actually. He's going to Norwich on loan from Sheffield United. Carl Rushworth has joined Hull. That's a good get for them. I still think Southampton would have been better off just getting him on loan. Stefan Bajcetic has left Liverpool to go to Red Bull Salzburg on loan. Ben Doak is gone to Middlesbrough on loan, and Kate Gordon is gone to Norwich on loan. So that's where they all stand. Let's have a look at what else is going on. We'll check in with Mr. Ornstein first. Right, so what have you got for us, Mr. Ornstein? Wolves reach agreement to sign Carlos Forbes. loan with an option to buy next summer for 13.5 million. He's former Man City Academy. Negotiations between Chelsea and Manchester United over Jadon Sancho centre on initial loan with an obligation to buy. That's just one of the most stupid transfers you can imagine. Chelsea awaiting green light for Victor Osimhen before advancing talks with Napoli over deal. Ipswich have revived talks with Chelsea over a deal to sign Armando Broja on loan. 22-year-old striker out until mid-October with a foot injury, but the clubs remain in communication over potential switch. That's quite curious. They did try and sign Lyle Foster and Odsonne Edouard, I think, on loans with obligations if they stayed up, but couldn't get either of them done. Brentford, who desperately need a right back and have two good left backs, are signing another left back in Jaden Magoma from Southampton. Very, very highly regarded, but not what they need at all. But still, you might as well get the really good young player in if you can. James Ward-Prowse is going to Nottingham Forest on loan. Carlos Soler is going to West Ham on loan. Arsenal have signed Neto from Bournemouth. Season-long loan, no option or obligation to buy. So he is going from being first choice at Bournemouth last season to being the backup at Arsenal this season, with Arsenal sending Ramsdale out and Bournemouth bringing Kepa in. What else do we have here? Let's check Romano. Nottingham Forest are rejecting all approaches from Newcastle for Anthony Elanga. Real Sociedad are in talks to sign Naif Agard from West Ham. Tottenham have completed a deal with Real Betis. So Lo Celso is going to Betis, and Spurs are getting a priority option to buy Johnny Cardoso in the future. And if they don't buy him and someone else gets him, Spurs will get a percentage of the deal. Fair, I suppose. Besetic confirmed. Chelsea have presented two bids for Jadon Sancho. One is a loan with an obligation to buy, and the other is a loan with an option to buy, but the option is a higher fee. Chelsea have reached total agreement with Sancho on personal terms. Genoa were trying to sign Ivan Perisic. God. Augsburg have agreed terms to sign Frank Onyeka from Brentford. Ori Oskarsson is set to join Real Sociedad from FC Copenhagen. Ivan Toney is a done deal to Al Ahly. Lo Celso. Orel Mangala is a done deal. He's joining Everton on loan. Leipzig are signing Lucharel Gertruda. They're also getting Niko Tomasevic, who's a young Croatian. Cardiff are signing Rocco Simic from RB Salzburg. Okay. Thomas Palacios has finally joined Inter after about 3 weeks of that deal being almost done. Wolfsburg are signing Dennis Favreau to replace Maxence Lacroix. Edna Shigrova is staying with Lille. Now in Perez to Porto is done. Juan Bernat going to Villarreal on loan. And that does seem to be that. Renier goes from Real Madrid to Granada. He was going to go to an English club, I think. I think there was a championship club trying to sign him, but he's gone to Granada instead. Fiorentina are signing Robin Gosens. That's a loan with an obligation. And that is pretty much our lot for now. So, yeah, it does look like there's a lot going on. So we'll see if anything happens over the next, well, I'll be here for the next 10 minutes or so. But yeah, over the rest of this deadline day, which is about 5 hours, I'll be back after the break. Right, we'll just do the gossip and be wrapped for the day. Arsenal are weighing up moves for Raheem Sterling and Kingsley Coleman having been approached with the option of signing both in the final days. Both on enormous money. Doesn't really make sense to bring either of them in on loans. Like, Sterling is 29, Coleman is 28. How much are they going to play? You've got Martinelli. Trossard's a big favourite of the manager. They're both better than probably both of them when fit and flying, but Coleman's hurt so regularly, and Raheem, I mean, he's just coming off a dreadful season. I think Arsenal are better off staying away from either of those two. They also just don't fit the age profile of what the Gunners have been building, so I wouldn't imagine that happens. Newcastle are set to walk away from their long-standing pursuit of Mark Way. That's pretty much been confirmed that he is staying with Palace. Ivan Toney, Victor Osimhen. Liverpool rejected a cash plus player offer. I believe it was like 12 million, and Matt Turner. It's insulting. Chelsea are edging closer to deal for Sancho. Ipswich are considering a move for Odsonne Edouard. I mentioned that one. Fulham will not sign Miguel Almiron. Had that been linked? I hadn't even seen that been linked. It would make no sense for Newcastle to sell him, given they haven't gotten a replacement in, so that it would just be an odd move for them to let him go with nobody coming in. But I suppose maybe that's where the Elanga thing was going to come in. Kurt Zouma has completed his medical. That medical must have involved him counting to 5 and nothing else, because if they checked his knee, nobody would sign him. Nobody would sign him. By all accounts, West Ham, when they signed him, just chose to ignore the state his knee was in. He failed a medical on a move to Qatar, and now apparently has passed one. There's just no chance. Chelsea have inquired about the availability of Thomas Orrego of Benfica. Why? Why? What purpose would that serve for anybody? Billy Gilmour is now unlikely to move to Napoli after Matt O'Reilly was confirmed to have sustained a serious injury. So now he's out for the long term, and they're just going to keep Gilmour around just as depth, which I understand, but it's a little bit unfair on the player. Brighton have submitted a £17 million offer to Nordsjælland for 19-year-old Danish striker Konrad Hauer. Now, I saw one or two of the Danish pages talking about this earlier on social media and saying, like, he's really talented, but this was to be his breakout season. This was the season where he was meant to sort of establish himself. And they're a bit surprised that Brighton have just jumped in so quickly with a big offer. Fulham are exploring a late move for Edna Shagrova. That one's not going to happen. Ipswich's English defender George Edmondson has emerged as an option to resolve Middlesbrough's availability crisis at centre-back. He'd not only resolve their crisis, he'd probably be their best defender, in truth. Leeds are on the verge of signing Isaac Schmidt from FC St. Gallen. Hull have launched a bid for Norwich's 21-year-old English winger Abu Kamara. Maybe with Cade Gordon there, he's available, but they've also lost Jonathan Rowe, so we'll see. Hull are trying to sign Casey Palmer. That one got done. And I think so did Harrison Ashby, going on loan from Newcastle to QPR. So that's those. What else has John Percy got? Tom Cannon going to Stoke on loan. No option to buy on that one, but Stoke have beaten off quite a bit of competition for him. Nottingham Forest tried to sign Omar Marmoush, but it appears to have fallen apart. Forest didn't want to pay the asking price, and as things stand, it looks like they won't be adding the striker they wanted. That's pretty much all he's got. Is there anything, I wonder, from Mike McGrath? Actually, we won't bother with Luke Edwards, to be fair. Mike McGrath, have you got anything new? Well, James Ducker is reporting that optimism surrounds the Sancho deal. Now in Perez. West Ham are trying to do a deal for Carney Chukwuemeka. Does sound like Chelsea are offering him around. Chris Metham is having a medical at Sunderland ahead of a move from Bournemouth. And that is it. Like I say, there are 5 hours left in the window, but I think it's fair to say if your club hasn't done anything or nothing is being widely discussed in the media, then probably not doing anything. So Arsenal fans are upset. Liverpool fans are fuming. City fans are pretty upset as well. So, at least everybody's in the same boat. I'll see you Monday. Maybe. There's a chance I'm not here Monday, but I should be. It's a small chance, but I should be. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll see you next week either way. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.